I've done some suspension tuning and completed El Chocolate. El Chocolate, I don't know how to pronounce it in Spanish. Let's check my online rank. '15th. 38 seconds. That's a big difference. I actually spun out at the end of the stage. Let's check the replay. I'm gonna pause. How do I do this? Change camera. 5. Oh, I'm listening to, you can hear that, VTuber. Anyway, onto the video. I've lost my brain. Let's hit play and turn off the HUD. So I'll get to the settings at the end when I can show the settings. But I've drastically softened the dampers compared to what they were in WRC 8. And the car is much more stable. It is very unstable now because of the soft dampers, but it is drivable. Hang on, I don't know if it's too loud for you, but it's too loud for me. I need to turn it down on my headphones. Okay. Anyway, the dampers are extremely soft. They could be a little bit stiffer, or they could be a lot bit stiffer. I mean, the car's not going to break with stiff dampers. It's not simulated in the game. But with these soft dampers, it's much more compliant for the bumps on this stage. And I did a lot of runs because the car is just a little too unstable. The alternative to what it's set to now is to have a stiffer front damper than the rear, but it had weird bump characteristics having the stiff front damper. And the softer front damper, which you'll see at the end, is much more capable of handling the rough bumps of this stage. I don't really have much to say about the stage, that is, the part that's the same. The sliding, the dynamics of the sliding is a lot better, apart from the high angle slides. The car is more, it is motivated more to slide. I don't know what's the phrase. It is incentivized, not incentivized, it's easier. I just think of that word. It's easier to slide at low slip angles, whereas before in WRC 8, large maneuvers had to be made to make the car slide. Like Scandinavian flicks in every turn, weird handbrake turns. Well, with WRC 9, it's not that way. You can just kind of dab the brake. There's no handbrake in that turn right there. Just front brake, and it just rotates. It's really nice. Like I said, it's really unstable. And this stage is a really good test for suspension compliance because of how bumpy it is. But I'd say the car is probably a little too unstable, but I'm not going to change it for the sake of this video since I drove it the way it is. I'll probably make some updates to it, but since it's drivable here, and I did some tests at Orca with full soft dampers, and it was drivable with the dampers set to 1000. That's the lowest setting that you can set the dampers to. And so basically that means you can use any range of the damper and still have a controllable car, which is nice. But with the 1000 speed damper, it was too soft. The car would hit the bump stops a lot in the turns. You just turn the car a little bit at speed and the car would hit the bump stop. And so I turned up the dampers to stabilize the car a little bit more. Just to slow down the amount of travel. It slows down the speed, but also by slowing the speed, the suspension will travel less over a bump because the speed is slower. I'm looking forward to tuning the car for tarmac because the spring stiffness actually gets pretty stiff. Oh, I made a bobble there. The spring stiffness seems to go up to a 14K spring, 14 kilogram spring, which is really stiff. That's time attack type suspension on a circuit. So I don't think I'll be using 14 kilogram springs on the tarmac in this game, but probably 65 was where I had it. I think 65, yeah, 65 was the stiffest I had it for the tarmac in WRC 8. I'll probably use maybe anywhere between 70 to 110 stiffness. That's just predictions. I'll find out when I actually get to it eventually. Not today. It's the 22nd now, I think. Which is a lot longer. I spent a lot more time on this than I wanted to initially, but I wanted to get it done today, or at least within a reasonable time frame from my last video, just to find out how soft the suspension can go without having to like forget about it and not post a video for like 3 weeks or something and then get back to it. So I kind of rushed it out. Like I said, since it is rushed, I'm probably going to be making more adjustments to it. The rebound dampers could be stiffer. I don't know if it would handle the bumps better with stiffer rebound dampers, but it'll be a lot more stable with stiffer rebound dampers. And this stage feels really long. It's not that long. It's only 16 minutes. It's 16 minutes. No, it's not 16 minutes. It's 9 minutes or something. I'll find out at the end. But I had a lot of mistakes at the end of the run that caused me to spend a lot more time on this than I wanted to. And I even spun out at the end of this video. And I just said, screw it, I'm going to accept the spin. I got 15th. If I don't spin, I can probably get higher on the leaderboard. But I'll get to that some other time. I mean, the leaderboard is tentative at this point. Everyone's going to start getting faster and faster over the month or so, next month or so. And so getting a high placing now, it's not going to matter that much. And I'm having trouble with my wheel, more trouble than before. I've mentioned in previous videos that my wheel's all broken, but now the paddle shifters are starting to not shift properly. Either it doesn't shift or it'll double shift, and I don't know if it shows up in this video or not, but there are a lot of shifting mistakes that were made today. I don't know if it's just me, but the engine sound quality, I did turn it down. Maybe turn down the fidelity a little bit because it's not as loud. But engine noise is kind of not that great. I mean, that's not what I play the game for, but it'd be nice to have really good engine sounds. At the end of this stage, the car starts to get ahead of me, where I'm reacting to the car rather than predicting the car, and I drastically slow down my pace, especially since I hadn't gotten to the end of the stage that often. I mean, not this far anyway. I crashed a few corners back or so a lot. Generally coming up the hill in 6th gear, I think, if you remember that. I don't know if you remember that turn. It's coming up a ridge and come up in 6th gear. I crashed there a lot. And then at one of the corners here I crashed a lot and I bumped the wall there. Let's see, it's coming up real soon. I think it's a 4 call out, and 4s are taken in 5th most of the time. It's coming up right around this corner, this turn, and I have to take it in 4th, otherwise I go into the lake. And real easy on the throttle, just kind of threading the needle through that chicane section. Didn't even carry any speed into the right hand or left hander. Got a little wide there. There's an example of how the car just kind of stops. It loses all of its momentum if you turn really high angle slip angles. But as I said in the previous one, if you keep the car within reasonable slip angles, it feels really good to drive. I'm really tiptoeing through this section. I just wanted to complete a stage, which was looking pretty nice. And then pretty much in the last section, I just spun. I carried a little too much speed. I was trying to save a little time, shave a few tenths, and I paid the price. And I crashed in that corner a couple times too. That's a 3 call out, a 3 right, but it's taken in 3rd instead of 4th, like how this 3 is called out and taken in 4th. This is supposed to be a 3rd gear turn. Yeah. That water splash caught me off guard. I've never figured out this section. I don't have it memorized, and the call-outs aren't descriptive enough. I should say like 4 right line, maybe, instead of a 4. Like, I think it's called out as a 5 right, 5 left, but they're not even significant corners. You just go straight through that section if you point it in the right. Here's a spin. Instead of veering off the course, I committed to going full brakes instead, so I could at least complete the stage and just be done for tonight. Alright, so I think I was 15th. Let me check again. My rank. Yeah, 15th. Alright, to the settings. Hopefully I'm recording. I would hate if I wasn't. Alright, same. This labeled GT1. I was playing with the suspension at Horka, and then I switched to here. It should be gravel test 2 because it's got the G2 final gear ratio 5.5 instead of a 5.0. And these are the dampers. Everything else is exactly the same, but I'll try to keep that the words out of the way. 2000 speed, whatever that is. 2000 speed damper in the front, compression, 3000 in the rear. I usually prefer stiffer front damper and softer rear damper, but over this bumpy course, that would be it's really nice on tarmac and smooth stages, but on this really bumpy stage, it put the car off. It causes the rear end to bounce around a lot, so having a softer front damper alleviated that issue. And then I have the stiffer rebound to stabilize the car, so the car absorbs the bumps with the soft damper, and then it doesn't bounce back quickly with the slow rebound. And I don't know, I didn't notice any what do you call it? Slow speed rebound. No, I didn't notice any stickiness of the rebound damping, where the tires stay stuck into the wheel wells because the speed of the rebound doesn't rebound fast enough. I didn't notice any of that. Or maybe it was really bumpy. Maybe I should use a softer rebound because it seemed really bumpy and it was too stiff. Maybe they are a little bit too stiff. Anyway, there's a lot more work that needs to be done on this, but as the video shows, instead of running 10,000 damping speed, I'm running down at the bottom end and it's still stable. So there's a lot more usable range of the dampers now. And that's it. Till the next one.